solving quadratics by factoring. And what that means, okay, sorry, I thought I kept saying. The solution to a quadratic equation is the x values of the x-intercept. Okay, so the x values of the x-intercept. And then it says in order to find the x-intercept, you let y equal 0 and solve for x. Because we know for x-intercepts that our y always equals 0. Okay, so I want you to know that anytime I ask for solutions, x-intercepts, roots, or zeros, I'm asking for you to find the x-intercepts, which means y equals 0. Okay, so what that means is today we are solving by factoring still. Let me zoom in. I don't know how without a mouse. Let's do this. Okay, here we go.
What are you doing?
Teaching. Okay, so we're still factoring today and tomorrow, but then next week we'll start doing other methods. Okay, so we know that y needs to equal 0, and we know that we need to factor this. So I'm going to rewrite it. Okay, and I know that I need to factor, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to factor a equals b equals c equals. So a, when it's x squared, is just 1, b is 2, and c is -8. Okay, remember a times c on top, b on bottom, ax, so it's just 1x, 1x, or just x and x. Okay, so what multiplies to give me -8 but adds to give me 2, positive 2? Who can tell me?
Or -2.
Yes, so positive 4 and -2. So the nice thing is 1 over 4 doesn't simplify, 1 over 2 doesn't simplify. So these are my factors. So I'm going to rewrite it like this. Now, the way you solve with this is because there's two factors, we're going to set both factors equal to the 0, and we're going to solve, and that's our solution. That's our x-intercepts. So we get x plus 4 equals 0, and x minus 2 equals 0. So here, how we solve for 0, or for x, sorry. So we're going to subtract 4 from both sides, and we get x equals -4. Here we're going to add 2 to both sides, and we get x equals 2. Okay, therefore, our solution are -4 and 2. Now, these can be written a couple different ways. You can write them in fancy brackets. That's your set of solutions or intercepts or whatever. Okay, you can also write it like this. Or, I want you to realize, y'all, we just found x-intercepts, which are points. So you can write it this way, or you can write them as points, -4, 0, and 2, 0. Okay? But all three of those would be accepted. You do not have to write them all three ways. Okay? So what I want y'all to realize that this means if we were to graph this, it would touch the x-axis at -4 and 2 and look something like this. Okay, see how it touches approximately -4 and approximately 2. Okay, so let's look at this one. Now, first things first, we have to have it equal to 0 because we are solving for 0. So here we have a 12 on the wrong side. Okay, I know this is number 3. I don't know why I numbered them this way, but anyway, so we're going to subtract 12 from both sides. And I want y'all to realize that's your c term. So when I rewrite it, x squared minus 4x minus 12 equals 0. Now we will factor. Okay? So a equals b equals c equals 1, -4, -12. So 1 times negative 12 is negative 12. B is negative 4. AX, AX. So what multiplies to give us negative 12 but adds to give us negative 4?
Negative 6 and 2.
Yes. Okay, well 1 over 6 and 1 over 2 do not simplify, so those are my factors, and I get x minus 6, x plus 2. So then remember we solve, so we get x minus 6 equals 0, x plus 2 equals 0. Here, how do you get rid of a negative 6? Do the opposite by adding 6. You get x equals 6. Subtract 2 because it's the opposite of adding 2. You get x equals negative 2. So my solution is negative 2, 6 inside fancy brackets. Now, if you write your solutions together like this, do not put them in parentheses because that is going to look like a point if you put them in parentheses. If you're going to put them as a list, you put them inside fancy brackets. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to do 2 more with y'all. And then we'll let y'all practice and ask questions. Okay, let's look at this one. Here, it is in order. Okay, there is no GCF 2, 5, and 3. There's no GCF, because remember, those are still the basics. We still have to check for those things. Okay, so here, we need to start by factoring. Sorry, these are new pins. So 2, 5, negative 3. A times C is negative 6. B is positive 5. I get AX, AX. Okay, so what multiplies to give us negative 6 but adds to give us positive 5? It's going to be positive 6 and negative 1. Now, here, 2 over 1 does not simplify, so that is one of my factors. Okay, but 2 over 6 does. You can take 2 out of both of those. So this ends up being x over positive 3. We get x plus 3. And there's our factors. So now we set them both equal to 0. And we solve. Now this one's a little different. This one's easy still. Plus 3 is going to be minus 3. It's one step. X equals negative 3. But this one's going to be a 2-step. So we're going to have to add 1 to both sides. We get 2x equals 1. Divide by 2, divide by 2. And I get x equals 1/2. Okay, so knowing that, I have negative 3 and positive 1/2 for my 2 x-intercepts or solutions or roots or zeros. Any questions? Okay, let's look at one more. We look at number 4. What do you notice about number 4? What's wrong with it? It's not in order. Okay, so we have to flip the order now. I want you to realize this is a positive 48 and a negative 16x squared. So when I flip it, I get negative 16x squared plus 48x equals 0. What else do you notice about it? It has a GCF, and there's no C term. But they both have an x, and we can take that out then. Okay, so what is my GCF? What goes into 16 and 48? 16. Okay. Does 16 go into 48? I don't even know. Go away. Okay, so if we take out, I also want you to realize you have a negative at the front. That means we have to take that negative out. Okay, so what else do they have in common? So we know they have negative 16 in common, but they both have at least one x. So when we take that out, we divide. So this negative 16's cancel, x squared over x just leaves me with 1x. 48 divided by negative 16 is going to be negative 3, and we took that x out. So there's my two factors. So when I said, because this is technically a factor too, so we get negative 16x equals 0, and we have x minus 3 equals 0. Well, here, this is multiplying, so when I divide both sides by negative 16, well, that's just going to give me 0. 0 divided by anything is 0. Here, though, I'm going to add 3, get x equals 3, so my 2 are 0 and 3. So the cool thing here is we didn't have to snowflake. We still did factor it, just in a different GCF way. Okay, are there any questions?
Yo, Miss Coppervillage,
What's up?
can you go to the top little thing, like the note thing?
Oh, of course. Okay, so I want y'all to realize that today and tomorrow you're going to be working on a practice page, which isn't that much. There's only 12, I believe. Okay, Friday is a makeup day. If you're missing work, turn it in.